Welcome back, and sincere apologies for that indeliberate break in transmission. We really do hope you accept our sincere apologies. And to take us further on the show now, we'll be going to other news items. Adeniyi, in Nigeria, over the past few days now, we've seen a lot of sacking sprees by the appeal courts, by various appeal courts, like in Plateau State, in Kano State, and in Zamfara State. Elsewhere, if we go to Edo State, there's a whole lot of crisis, in terms of between the governor and the deputy governor. If we go to Ondo State more or less feels like there's no governor, there's no deputy governor in Ondo State. But then I want us to get started from the sackings of the governors in these 3 states. What's your take on the whole issue, considering the fact that there was a process that brought these governors on seat in the first place, and looking at the sacking spree, a lot of Nigerians, a lot of civil society organizations, a lot of prominent Nigerians are beginning to express concerns over the possibility of Nigeria turning into a one-party state. And do you also see this as a kind of the ruling party trying to spread its tentacles across these states?
Now, firstly, I want to say that Nigeria as a country, for it to get it right, there is need for patriotism to be our watchword. Yeah, that's the correct word. Now, the truth remains that the judiciary system must be properly and well looked into. Do people now get mandates from judiciary or mandate from their people? So this must be properly defined. Whereby during election, some persons will sit behind and say, you people should go and do the election, we'll go and get the mandate from the court. So, and it is playing out, and judiciary is actually falling to that part.
How do you mean? Okay. How do you mean judiciary is actually falling into that part?
Yes.
Are you saying that the executive are using the judiciary as a tool to...
The point is this, I want you to understand this fact. For some of us, in as much we are careful in choice of words, but the truth remains that the judiciary we know before now is the last hope of common people and masses of every country. But as of today, do we still get it at that? Now, let us just absorb that within ourselves. But my take is this, that the judiciary should understand any decisions they are making after election, they should also look at the repercussion to that state, economic wise and security wise. So now, in some way, INEC should also wake up to her sole responsibility and also add this part to it, that 6 calendar months preceding every election, both court cases, technicalities, and the party on herself would have sorted out their grievances, so that the Nigerian government will not continue to waste money
on litigation.
So do you think this is a party grievance case? Because in my opinion, if you ask me, I think now this election has taken place. The governors themselves have been sworn in. They spent some number of days in office, months in office, and now you are coming to sack them that they were not supposed to be sitting on the seat of power. Now, how do you begin to take all of this? Shouldn't this have been something that should have been resolved even before swearing in?
Now we are on the same page, and that is where INEC need to also wake up more and look inward more. For example, the Imo election, there have been a lot of grievances that have been expressed. The Kogi election, there are a lot of grievances that have been expressed. why quickly rushing into swearing in? Why not look at issues base before swearing in, so that this will not cost the Nigerian government more? And these are taxpayers' money that is being used to run all these affairs. And at the end of the day, you are getting it in futility, not getting expected result. So our suggestion is that the INEC should always make sure that before anyone is sworn in, that the court would have been done with all their job, and the INEC on our own would have sat down to check their documents, both in the polling unit, in the ward, in the local government, and in the state, to make sure that this candidate we are swearing in has the mandate of the people, by the virtue of the document at their disposal. Now, for example, the case of the senator in Kogi, Natasha, who was just sworn in some days back. Yes. Now, look at the man has actually collected some salaries. INEC has sworn him in. A lot of funds has gone through that. Now another person is just coming to be sworn in. And when I say some of those things the man has benefited will be retrieved from him and given back to Natasha. So these are issues that INEC should properly take care of before any swearing in, so that this will not be leading us backward. For example, if the presidential swearing in election before, if for example that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has been sworn in, and at the course of the Supreme Court, they are the point of the Supreme Court now said you are not duly elected. Do you know the crisis that the country would have automatically will be starting from square one?
Appointment of ministers.
Another money.
Of course.
Another money will be spent again. So no, at the detriment of the taxpayers' money, which is meant to be used for the development of the country, to build social amenities, hospital, waters, roads, for usage of the people. So all these areas, INEC must sit down and re-strategize again. INEC has been trying, but yet INEC must sit up again to kind of look inward and see that before any swearing in, let there be that all assignment has been put in. But
then if we talk about before any swearing in, all the litigations and everything should have been put in place. I think that should be speaking to the legislative arm of the government, so because they have to go back to the constitution and also the electoral act, which a lot of Nigerians have been clamoring for, that the legislature, they need to go back to that electoral act because of some of the loopholes that a lot of politicians sought to exploit during the previous round of elections. But then I needed to speak to the issue currently in Ondo State. Ondo State, more or less, is a state looking like no governor, no deputy, looking like a state on an autopilot mode, just running itself wherever it leads to. What exactly is going on in Ondo State as a critical? I'm asking you because I see you as a critical stakeholder in the affair of Ondo State.
Now the truth is this: Ondo State. We pray for quick recovery for the governor, Oluwarochimi Akeredolu. Now, the point is that he came back after his 3-month vacation, going for treatment. He arrived in Ibadan, which is his base. And the truth is, if a governor won't be on ground, it is his sole responsibility to delegate power to his deputy.
We've seen
a holistic delegation of power, handing over power, pilot their affairs on my behalf till I come back. Now, the governor is back. His presence is not being felt in the state. That is number one. Then number two is that the deputy governor is being witch hunt in the name of impeachment. Now the point is this: the deputy governor is not. He doesn't really have that power acting as deputy governor because of the battle of impeachment that is ongoing. He is not acting as acting governor because the governor is back, but his presence is not in the state.
So then, if you talk about the governor is back, you made mention of the fact that if the governor is incapacitated for any reason, he has to delegate power to the deputy. At least that is why he has a deputy, someone to deputize for him. But after when he made his first medical trip, power was transmitted to the deputy governor, and on the back of that, a lot of accusations were made that the deputy governor made moves to get the governor impeached. He was already envisaging the governor may not survive the illness, and when the governor returned, he was made. I saw a press conference where he openly apologized to the governor for his wrongdoings, and also made to withdraw his suit at the state high court that barred the state House of Assembly from impeaching him. But then these stories still keep coming on. The good people of Ondo are complaining. The good people of Ondo are crying. They are not feeling the impact of governance. They are on autopilot mode. What exactly is going on in Ondo State?
No.
Being that the deputy governor has been made to publicly apologize, which to me feels like subjecting him to public ridicule.
Now, the point I want you to understand is that the deputy governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, happens to be a very humble young man whom, even when he is not wrong, for the sake of peace and for the state to move on, he will always yield to "I am sorry." That does not make him wrong. That is one. Then two is that the governor himself is not in the state of mind to even understand why people who are coming to tell him to impeach the deputy governor are coming on board. And one fact is this: somebody who does not have access to the fund of the state, how can he embezzle? How can he siphon funds? Is it not funds that are made available? Is it not funds that you have access to that you can embezzle? Does he really have access to funds? There are cartels and cabals who are running the state on behalf of the governor, and that is the truth. These are people that want Lucky Aiyedatiwa to leave because they felt that if he is on acting capacity, he might end up dreaming of becoming the next governor of the state. So that is a fear.
I think it's more like what often happens in some of the other states.
Yeah, like Edo State. Okay. So that is a fear.
I want to ask you a question. You talked about the fact that some people want the governor out. Probably some people want the governor out. Some people also do not want the deputy governor to assume the acting governor's capacity in the states. Can you mention names?
No. The point was
Can you mention names?
Let me help you.
And the governor has been incapacitated almost 6 months now. Are there no provisions in the law that mandates the governor to resign according to the law of necessity?
The truth is that myself and you know that the law in this country works for those in power. Works for those in power.
Are you trying to say
that a personal opinion?
No, it is something that is happening in the country. Myself and you understand this. The truth is this. Yes, no, it is not baseless. The point is this: that if the House of Assembly on her own cannot look inward and look at the incapacity of the governor at the moment, and as a gentleman, for me, if the governor happens to be my dad, to be candid, it costs me nothing to tell him, Dad, for you to have peace of mind, resign so that you can just remain in UK or any other country and be taking good care of yourself. When you have expertise who can actually look inward towards your good health. It costs nothing. Then don't forget that recently you can see that the SSG of the state was collating signatures to give vote of confidence to the governor that the state is not seeing. So now the point is this, that the governor that the state is not seeing, you are kind of collating signature from stakeholders and government appointee to give vote of confidence. Vote of confidence on what? That he is on ground, so that people can assess him, that contracts can be looked into. The governor is not on ground, the deputy governor is not on ground. Who are those that will look into proposals that are coming?
So are you saying the governor, it would be right for the governor to resign at this moment?
No, the truth is this, that 80% of the Ondo State citizens, to be precise, cannot even say the word about the governor at the moment. Which is a sincere truth. Then, so nobody can actually tell of his present health condition to be able to know if anybody should say resign, or for now, in the next 3 calendar month, hand over power to your deputy. Let him promote the affairs of the state on your behalf, and always give you feedback. You must expect feedback from whosoever that you've delegated power to represent you. So there must be that cordial relationship. Just like what happened in Edo, there was no that cordial relationship. That is why Shaibu shot himself on the leg. You cannot fight your principal. But the case of Edo is different from the case of Ondo. Because the case of Ondo, the governor is sick and is not on ground. But some certain soldiers around the governor, foot soldiers around the governor, are the ones that don't want the acting governor to actually a kind of carry out his duties and assignment to see that the state get going.
All right, now because you're a security expert, we're not going to leave without asking you this question. So there's this headline on Liberty that says insecurity, over 10,000 killed, abducted in 10 months. That's according to reports. I'll read this excerpt. It says no fewer than 7,472 were killed, while there were 3,161 abduction cases across the country between January and October this year, according to a security report. As a security expert,
the truth is that this is underreported.
Oh
yes, what
trying to say
on this basis,
what do you have
now? The truth is this:
what are your
our cases, our cases are personally intervened on as a person, as an individual. Whereby these cases were not officially reported because the family felt that they don't want a situation whereby their brothers or their sisters that were kidnapped to be killed. And when fully well from other victims who have been kidnapped in the time past, that even when it was reported, the family end up being the one championing every cause, spending money to mobilize security, and also end up paying the same ransom. So people felt it's better they discuss with the kidnappers themselves and sort them out and get their family members, their loved ones out of the district. Are you aware, just on 17, that was 3 days ago, in Abaji, another set of persons were kidnapped.
No, we did.
So all these are not in the government data. So we were supposed to be there yesterday, Sunday. I spoke with the FCT coordinator of CONISA. We were supposed to say we'll be going to that place on Tuesday, maybe tomorrow. But the fact I want us to understand is this: that until the security chiefs in this country agreed to localize security, localizing security and community policing from a holistic perspective will bring an end to the mess we find ourselves in.
But you know, a lot of people would argue that this bringing security to the local level is even the biggest of problems, because at the end of the day, even in the local level, when one person is found guilty, you find other people shielding the person, saying this one our person. So now that brings another problem and hands tied when it comes to bringing security to the very local level.
No community will want a criminal to dwell within her.
That's what you think.
Now, another thing I want you to understand is this: when we were coming up in the village, there are corporal punishment when you commit crime. Either you went to somebody's farm to steal, or you steal fowl, or you steal your mother's money. It is not even your parent that handles you. It is the general community. So there are corporal punishments that keep you upright, in check.
Yeah, but then we have to.
But the point I want us to understand is this: if security is localized, then how? The king, the chiefs, the community leaders, the pastors, the imams in that community. Then lastly, there is no community as far as this country is concerned that does not have retired army personnel, that does not have retired police officer, that does not have retired DSSS. So all these people, let the government collate the data of all former retired personnel that are still alive, and make them the eyewash of the government on security. On what? Security alone. A situation whereby you are delegated on issue of development, you are prognosing on issue of security. There's no way you can get it right, because you cannot serve two masters at the same time. Delegate an assignment. And one thing I want to tell you, that youth commit 80% of this crime. They are the perpetrator. And that's why we are asking you this question. Now, the point is now this, that as far as this country is concerned, we have essay to the governor, to the president. No, essay to the president. Or SSA to the president on student matters. We have the minister of youth, FCT. Then we have the overall minister. Now, the fact is this: where is the place of security? Is it not right for the president to have SSA to the president on youth security matters, whereby knowing fully well that the youth engage more on crime? So now, to be able to bridge that gap, a very vibrant and versatile youth leader in this country who happens to have played vital role on youth and student activism, who understand the terrain of what happened in the field of youth, and who actually have one or two persons, comrades, that you have served with in the time past, and you know that these people are dogged, they have what it takes to contain some of the activities of these younger ones that are upcoming, who are not going into yahoo ritual and others. So these people, in every community, there is always that youth leader who can shout on any criminal and say, if I see you do this again, I'll personally hand you over to security personnel. And such a person will not do it again. So what we are saying is this: if we must get it right security wise, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should look inward and get a young Nigerian youth who will stand as the IGP of Nigerian youth on security matters. And this person will work with all the security chiefs, and then we begin to get it right as a country.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Adeniyi, Director CONISA. Thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All right, viewers, thank you so much for joining the show today. This is where we draw the curtains. I am Olamide Alhassan. See you again tomorrow.
And I am Francis Adeniyi. Do have a beautiful day ahead.